This conference will now be recorded.
Commissioner President, but for ease and ability, I think I'll just go ahead. If she does not mind, I'll run it from here.
That sounds great.
Got the thumbs up. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and call the Board of Commissioners meeting for the Lake Stevens Sewer District to order. It is February 22nd, 2024, 9 a.m. Myself, Dan Lorenzen, Commissioner number 1. I got Commissioner 2 and 3 online virtually this morning. So with that, we'll go ahead and call it to order. We have staff and a lot of guests. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're back. Okay, with that being said, if you're following us either virtually or in person, there's a few of us here. We are down to item number 3 on the agenda this morning. That item is public forum. This is an opportunity at this time, if you're virtually or in person, which unfortunately we don't have any guests joining us other than the staff here in person, but it is an opportunity for anybody to address the Board of Commissioners on anything that they may want to speak of. It does not have to be on today's agenda item, but it can be anything that there may be. I know we have nothing in the audience. I'll look to the board and see if it lights up like a Christmas tree with somebody wanting to speak first. Of course, it never does. I don't see any hands being raised electronically or waving to me. I'll look to staff. We got nothing email or in person dropped off. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and close the public forum aspect, showing that nobody wanted to talk to us this morning. So with that, we're down to number 4. We have an agenda in front of us. I know that this agenda has been put out for the last couple of days, so it is an opportunity to look to staff to see if there's any addendums, changes. Look to my fellow commissioners to see if there was anything they wanted to add. I'm getting an indication with the head shake side to side, saying no, I have nothing. So with that being said, we could move for an approval of this fine agenda.
I'll make a motion we approve the agenda as written.
There is a
I second it.
This second. With that being said, there doesn't have to be discussion, so I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it is approved. We're going to move on down. We are at item number 5, consent agenda items. It's pretty short this morning. There's only A through D. So this was agenda items that the commissioners have looked at previously in detail. I will look to my fellow commissioners if there's any questions, comments, concerns, or a motion.
I'll make a motion we approve consent items A through D.
There is a motion on the floor to approve A through D on the consent agenda items. Do I have a second?
I second it.
The second has arrived. With that being said, all in favor? Aye.
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 Perfect. We are now down to item number 6 on our agenda this morning. This is the old business. Old business only has one item, which is A. It's an update to the pre-treatment variance request by Kids Way Child Care. I will look to staff.
All right. So the previously approved variance had the annual fog fee listed as $100. This the adjustment is to change that to $150 a year, which is our minimum fog fee.
Okay.
And is recommended by staff for approval.
Okay. Any questions, comments, concerns from the other commissioners? Getting a head wave side to side, indicating none. Would look for a motion to approve the addendum or a change or the amendment to this updated pre-treatment variance request.
I'd make a motion that we approve the updated pre-treatment variant request for Kids Way Child Care.
Okay,
I second it.
And a second has arrived. With that being said, any further comments, questions, concerns? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? Aye.
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 And it has been approved. Thank you. We're moving down to number 7. There are 2 items. First one being Snohomish County PUD agreement, and the second one being another pre-treatment variance request, but we'll start with A.
So the Snohomish County PUD agreement that's in your packet, it's an agreement for the protection of private customer information. And so what we're trying to do is gather the water data, the water usage data directly from PUD, rather than staff going out and physically reading the meters, which is what we do every month in order to bill our commercial accounts. Since PUD considers this private customer information, we're going to need consent from every customer in a written form in order to actually get that data from PUD. But this agreement really is the first step to us being able to get that information from PUD. This agreement has been reviewed by legal and is recommended by staff for approval, and looking for approval for the general manager to execute the agreement. We can do that part, and then we want to talk a little bit more about the next steps with this program in order to get that. But if we can do the approval of the agreement first, that would be great.
Okay, perfect. Any questions, comments, concerns from the other commissioners?
Nope.
I would entertain a motion if that is within something one of them want to proceed with.
I'll make a motion that we authorize our general manager to sign the Snohomish County PUD agreement for customer information.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor for that.
I second it.
The second, with that being said, any further discussion before we call for a vote? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Okay, it has moved forward and
All right. Then Jonathan's going to talk.
yeah, okay.
Yes. As part of this agreement and getting the data we need from PUD would be most helpful for us. We're wanting to get some direction from the commissioners on how to best approach this. Currently, the district spends about $17,410 a year just reading the water meters. So one suggestion internally that had come up is to offer some kind of incentive for the commercial customers to sign the consent form and get it back to us. So one of the suggestions, we'd run a couple of cost benefit analysis calculations to see if we could afford doing or what the impact might be to offer some incentive. And if we were to offer a $25 incentive, we have roughly 300 commercial accounts that would be that we would need the data from PUD for. So we're looking at an incentive cost of about $7,500, which at a $17,410 cost to read the meters currently, that would still be a savings of about $10,000 a year. If we were to go up to $50 incentive, that'd be a $15,000 cost to the district, but would still be a $2,400 savings, and we'd see a return on investment in 1 year on that. Yeah, I guess just a little direction from the commissioners if they'd even entertain an incentive program. And we would look at restricting it, time restricting it, so the incentive would only apply to people that give us the consent form, say by July, or that's one of the recommendations, is to time constrain it. So it's not, it doesn't go on for a long time.
Okay.
I philosophically don't have a problem with the incentive. What I would do is I would cap it for 1 year. So, or consider capping it for 1 year. So it's yeah, you do the time period, you got till July, and for the next 12 months, you're going to get a $50 credit. And I'd make sure that if we could have the authorization be specific to that connection, so it follows people as those properties turn over, so we don't have to if that's possible, so we don't have to redo it each time someone's in there and have to chase people, kind of a one and done, and have it baked into however someone signs up for sewer service, so that that just happens automatically, so that we can do this once, we get an incentive once, and then it's goodness for the general rate base after that. Those would be my thoughts on it, at least to consider.
Is this only for commercial accounts?
Yes.
Yep.
My feeling is to do a $50 incentive I think people don't want to do paperwork ever. And I think that makes it more likely that they would participate. I don't think, $25 is lunch now, right? So I feel like that would be a bigger incentive in this initial process.
Yeah, I think what I would say is I just leave it up to staff to determine what you think the best incentive up to your two options that you've had addressing it. But I think I'd also take a look at it once we do get people there, as maybe future connections come on board, that we let folks know as they're signing up, if you sign up for the automatic, we won't charge you a $25 assessment fee per month to have to go read your meter, because that might then be the assessment like, yeah, if I could save $25 by not having you come out and just get the information. Because I think the PUD, the way they have their information is going to mainly be based on that business and that person at the time, not necessarily tied to the commercial structure. And so as we get turnover, sometimes that might be the issue. So as people have new accounts, maybe that's just part of our overall saying, we have two options here. It'll cost you nothing to give us your information now that you're a new business coming in, or we're going to have to charge you an additional service fee of $25 a month to have somebody go out and physically read your meter every month. Most people look at it like, yeah, I'll save $25. So, but I leave it to staff. I think that's a great idea, a great thing. I know where we were looking at before, because if we were to have the ability to do all PUD records for everybody, then you could change some structure up, but that's always been an ongoing thing. And our rates are based on households right now, not water usage, except for commercial. So hopefully that gives you guys a little bit of idea what we.
I think we'll prepare a resolution, and get that to you guys to review at the next board meeting.
Perfect. Any other questions from the commissioners? Got a thumbs up? Yeah, perfect. Okay, well, we're going to move on down to the second item under the new business, which was another pre-treatment variance request. I will look to staff to give us some update on that recommendation.
So the Lake Stevens Community Food Bank is requesting a variance, essentially asking the district to, rather than every 90 days, inspect them once a year. And instead of the 90-day cleaning frequency, moving to a 6-month frequency. And they cite that the reason for it is that they aren't using the commercial kitchen like a commercial kitchen. So they're asking for some distinction from the commercial kitchen regulations. So district staff would recommend approval of the variance with the following conditions. That, sorry, I had my notes. That should the current maintenance, or should the 6-month maintenance cycle be found to be insufficient, that they would have to go with the district regulation cleaning cycle of every 90 days, and that they would be subject to the then current annual fog fee. So they'd have to pay the difference if it happens in the first year. If the second year it happens, they would have to pay the full year's fog fee, which is also based on water consumption.
Okay. Questions, comments, concerns from my fellow commissioners?
Can I just ask a question? So they're not cooking at all in there?
They're doing some meal prep, but no cooking. Basically, portions out of the vegetables and stuff that they get.
Okay, that makes sense.
I like the justification. That's how I would have written it too. Very rare use of greasy things going down the So perfect, a perfect request. So with that being said, I look to my fellow commissioners if there is a motion to approve this requested variance by the Lake Stevens Community Food Bank.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve the pre-treatment variance for Lake Stevens Food Bank with the amendments that were referenced.
Perfect. There is a motion on the floor. I'm looking for a second.
I second it.
The second is there. With that being said, is there any further discussion on this? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye.
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 Perfect, man, we're getting right there. Not record-breaking time, but we're getting through this. So we are actually down to our manager's report. We're going to start with the general manager.
All right. A little bit about what's happening in the world of biosolids right now. Back in 2022, there was a motion filed for summary judgment against Department of Ecology on their general permit for biosolids. It specifically was addressing SEPA review of PFAS, PBDEs, and microplastics, which were done, obviously, back when SEPA was done for the biosolids permit. And ultimately, the court agreed with the proponents through the Pollution Control Hearings Board, which has basically the result being that the current biosolids permit, general permit for the state of Washington, is null and void. And so since we were covered prior to that under the one that expired in 2022, we basically have a ghost permit now, which is
Scary.
yeah, there's going to be more to come. Ecology itself still doesn't know exactly what this means, but they need to restart the process of issuing a new general permit under whatever will satisfy both the courts and general public of these substances, right? PFAS, PBDs, and microplastics. So those of emerging concern. But for us right now, we're still covered under that ghost permit. But that could all change quickly if they are more successful in another court hearing. So there's been ongoing attempts, both through the legislature last session and the current session. None of them have made it through yet, but to stop land application of our biosolids. That would be a huge difference to how we've been operating for the entire life of our treatment plant and district, and different to how the state itself manages biosolids, being that land application is the most beneficial use and current law is written that is the preferred method over like landfill or incineration. So more to come. We'll see what happens, but just wanted to be aware of that. And then plant flows right now are at 3.027 million gallons a day. And that's all I have, unless you have questions.
No, any questions from the other commissioners? It looks like Commissioner Wright may have a follow-up.
I'm just wondering, so you said if they stop land application, so the alternatives are landfill or incineration?
Yeah.
That's horrible.
Those are the two other, methods to get rid of those biosolids.
Doesn't that seem more dangerous?
I guess it depends what perspective you're going from. Those that are arguing against land application is because of those, substances or chemicals that may enter both your waterways and your food sources and stuff like that. So yes, there's an environmental argument for land application actually being useful because of the benefits and the nutrients that you're putting back into the soil and using.
Right.
We'll see.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. With that, okay, I'll look to our assistant GM.
So we've collected 4 connection fees so far this year and issued 23 permits. The lift station 5C decommissioning project is essentially physically complete. The active construction is done, and minus the restoration, replanting of the unpaved easement between where 5C was and lift station 4C is. And there's a couple of punch list items they need to get fixed, but the active construction's done there. We're preparing to advertise the 2C force main and the 18th Main Street Gravity Sewer Project. We anticipate getting that out to ad on the 29th, and then opening bids on March 21st, and hopefully having a suggested firm for award on the 28th of March. And that's all I got.
Any questions, comments from the other commissioners? Not hearing any, other than that's going to be a very tight turnaround, but I'm sure that will be successful. It's going to be a busy summer around this community. So, okay, well, let's move on down to city reports. I see the city administrator, Jean, up on the wall, on the virtual wall. Welcome and good morning. And anything you want to add this morning, Jean?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Good to see you. As you know, the city is looking at purchasing property at the South Lake Stevens area for a new city hall, and part of that was to issue bonds. And so the council has moved forward on that, and these bonds will be paid for by existing revenues and not have an impact to the citizens of Lake Stevens. But part of that process, it was to look at our bond rating and try and get the lowest bond, or the highest bond rating as possible, so we could get low interest on those bonds. And just to give a bit of a history here, the city's been working on increasing their bond rating since 2010. We were at an A1 rating. In 2017, we went to an AA3. In 19, we went to an AA2. And then we just went through the bond rating process again, and we were upgraded to an AA1, which is super exciting. Lake Stevens is one of 7 cities in the state of Washington that currently have that rating, and only 5 cities in the state are higher than that. And so we're pretty proud of that. Some of the key points of that review is our financial picture is very robust, and we've got strong local economic growth. We've got great financial partners, which is great, and we've got low debt. They also cited that our governance is strong. We've got good policies in place. They're effective. We've got solid transparency and prudent budget management, excuse me. So at any rate, the only higher rating of this is an AAA rating, and that's the highest you get. So we're really proud of that fact. We're putting a press release out, and again, it's all about the lowest rates possible for those bonds. So that's what I had to report this morning.
Well, thank you and congratulations on that. I know that you've got a very good team behind the city, as far as I know. Well, I've worked with the finance director for many years when I was with the city, and I know that she does an excellent job at getting that, but it takes a lot of other people and electeds to make all that happen. So congratulations to you. Any others from the commissioners? Any comments? Okay, well, we're going to move on down to the commissioners' reports. And since, well, guess what? I get to run the meeting today because I'm the one in office. Now I get to choose who goes first. And we're going to start with Commissioner Wright this morning.
Great. Good morning. Last week I attended the WASWAD meeting, and we had a presentation about solar power and ways to save on, the use of power and the effectiveness of it. And of course, always a tricky time is earning solar money during the winter. So I don't know how lucrative that would really be for us, but it was an interesting presentation nevertheless, and they're doing some big things at Tulalip with solar power. The other thing I just wanted to mention is just my commitment of retaining staff and the importance of investing in people who work hard and do their jobs diligently. There's always discussion with WASWAD about, similar to other industries, that we need to be able to retain people with this specific knowledge, and that it is becoming more and more competitive among water and sewer districts to retain these people. And I just wanted to vocalize how important it is for our community to have well-trained executive staff and also those working in the field so that we can keep our lake and community clean and environmentally friendly. And that's it for me.
Thank you. Mr. Koshi.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I don't have a lot. I will be back in town the week of the 11th, so look forward to seeing all of you then. I think we have a WASWAD meeting that week, if I'm not mistaken, as well as a board meeting. So always good to be in person. Appreciate the hard work that's represented by everybody on this call to keep things flowing where they need to flow. So have a good morning, everybody.
Perfect, thank you. Again, I just want to thank everybody, the staff, everybody that put in the long days, hard work to make things, work well. Every time we do our job right, as we all know, we never hear from the public, which is a good thing, and we don't hear from them at all, really. They know we're a pretty well-oiled machine, and that means not only just the administrative staff within this organization in the building, it's our field staff, it's our plant staff, so I do appreciate that. I do want to give a shout out to the Assistant General Manager who came down and did a great presentation to the local Lions Club. But I am a Lion, so we always are looking for folks to come and present. And so we had a really good presentation by the sewer district in regards to how water goes from one color to a very clear color. And it's always a plus. And I think that there were a lot of questions asked. So very, very, very good presentation. Thank you. I did attend the Section 3 meeting with Commissioner Wright. It was a good informational as far as solar and some of the things that they are doing. Not only is Tulalip doing some of these solar projects, some of our larger sewer water districts in the South County are putting these things together in preparation for future, because a lot of the times you can reduce costs by using that type of facility with battery banks. We do have a conference coming up here in our own county here in April. I would love to see my fellow commissioners attend the conference, the spring conference for the Washington Association of Water and Sewer Districts. Cost should be pretty minimal for us because we can just drive home every night. It's being hosted at Tulalip. I mean, well, yes, sometimes it is nice to be able to stay after and network, but we're close to home, so there shouldn't be much of a reason our fellow commissioners and myself can't be there. But with that, I know we do have an executive session. I do see our legal counsel, Ms. Jordan Stevens, up there. It's going to be, I would say, probably no more than 10 minutes. We might come out for 15, but in regards to potential for litigation. So yeah, but she will call out all of those under the RCW. There would be no decision to follow when we are concluded. Then we would come back into regular session and excuse everybody, meaning us, for the day and let staff get back to work. So with that being said, it is, well, according to the wall, it says 9:28. We'll start and go till 9:40. So we'll start there. And then
all right. The Lake Stevens Sewer District Commission will now move into executive session pursuant to RCW 42-30-110, subsection 1, subsection I, to discuss with legal counsel representing the agency matters relating to pending or potential litigation to which the agency is or is likely to become a party. The executive session will conclude at 9:40, and at the conclusion, the commission will adjourn the board meeting with no related announcements or action taken.
Sounds great. Okay, we're ready.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, well, good morning again. We're back in regular session, as we said, at 9:40. I think it's just clicking over, but we are back with no decision to follow, as we had previously stated. With that being said, I would just look to the fellow commissioners. We could entertain a motion to adjourn this fine meeting this morning.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
I second it.
A second, all in favor? Aye.
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 Well, thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful
Thank you,
Thursday.
Jordan. Thank you, fellow commissioners. Thank you, Jonathan.
Bye.
All right.